I love this idea that our senses aren't capable of perceiving all, and there's a beautiful humility in that. And it reminded me of your conversation with David Lynch. I was listening to that conversation on your podcast, and he said something very interesting in trying to describe consciousness. And we have this sense that what is real is the three-dimensional things in our purview, what we can touch, what we can sense, what we can hear. But in truth, it is only consciousness that is real, because everything that exists in this material realm is but a projection of that consciousness. So,
well, I mean, I can't argue with that, yes. Can I, Rich?
No, take this and run with it.
For a moment.
Where is your next beautiful monologue to come out of this?
Well, because I agreed with you quite early on, I must admit I did start thinking about the chocolate raisins that were left on the bed in the room I was in.
So
a little box of chocolate raisins. Man, they're fucking delicious. The white elephant, they know how to do a chocolate raisin, Rich. I'm telling you.
Is it vegan?
There was milk chocolate ones, they were... What? Don't tell me I've had a vegan relapse. Right. I used to be a smackhead and you're going to do me for lactose.
I'm so invested in your vegan journey, Russell. I'm so disappointed.
I didn't ask if they was vegan. I was lonely. I was in a hotel room. I was triggered. You're lucky that you just didn't see a TV set come out the window. I can't cope with success. I don't deserve to be happy.
I don't know where to go from here.
Don't you go anywhere. You stay here, Rich Roll, you beautiful man. Like, yeah, you come on, you don't need any more information on limitlessness of consciousness and the fact that the senses are just instruments for detecting particular frequencies of data, and it would be a coincidence, wouldn't it, if the instruments for detecting data that we had were the only instruments for detecting data that were feasible in infinity. Oh yeah, it just turns out that human beings have got the 5 instruments through which all data can be received, even though we know already that we can only see a limited light range, only hear a particular sound range. There's even mammals on the planet can see and hear things that we don't see and hear. Isn't it likely then that there are different frequencies, new realms, distinct forms of data that we don't have the instruments to receive, but that don't mean they're out there? That's a particular kind of materialistic ignorance that has determined the decline of our species. If none of us here had a sense of smell, not me, not you, not none of us, how would we understand the concept of a sense of smell? The smell of paint, the smell of bacon. Not that you'd like that, you gorgeous vegan. You'd be better off eating that paint. No, Rich makes good food. I've eaten that cheese thing.
No, it's not mine. Give Julie the credit for that.
Props to Julie. She seems like a woman not to mess around with on the vegan subject. I mean, all vegans are pretty serious, aren't they? They're always ready to give you a good thump if you undermine their food. My point is this.
Lots of judgment.
Not to criticise Rick. I am a vegan, okay? I just had a little relapse upstairs. Jesus Christ. Believe me, in 2006, I'd have done a lot worse things with them chocolate raisins. They wouldn't have been melting in my mouth, let me tell you. It's likely, I think, that there are forms of information, frequencies that are inaccessible to us due to the material limitations of being an evolved ape. And if you don't know that, then I'd recommend some psychedelic experiences which will introduce you to the limitations of human consciousness, the fact that your individuality is a construct derived from the biochemistry of the anatomy and memory, and suddenly to be introduced to the infinite, particularly like when I did it when I was like 14 with no proper guidance, all confused, at a bus stop. It's a difficult place to meet God. And the bus was still late. England.
So, what does God look like for you?
God looks like the thing that's doing the looking. Sometimes when I'm talking to atheists, I think, what do you think you are experiencing? Where are you talking to me from? Don't you think it's mysterious that you're here in a body, experiencing reality, alive? This is my life. Who says? Where did you get that idea, my life? My life. We are alive, we are conscious, we are awake. And I believe, like our mutual friend David Lynch, that behind all separation is oneness, that more will be revealed, that apocryphally and anecdotally, the reason that heroism seems so beautiful, you hear some tale of a woman leaps out of a moving vehicle to rescue a stranger, and you feel, wow, because in this moment we recognize that, yes, oneness, truth, sacrifice, principles that seem now deeply embedded when we live in a time where we're told that our job is to find individual fulfillment through various forms of consuming or the acquisition of prestige or property. These are difficult ideas to overcome because they're underwritten by biological drives, you know. I'm not criticizing people for falling for a global con, but a con is what it is.
Yeah. It is a con that is inescapable. Everywhere we turn, it is affirmed. It's in our face. This message that we cannot escape, that the fulfillment, the purpose, the happiness, the connection that we seek will be found in purchase. It will be found in status. It will be found in the pursuit of career advancement and material accumulation and a surrounding of luxury.
Yeah, that's right, because of course we have necessary appetites and drives to eat and consume and procreate and have status and achieve social power and to be liked. All of these drives are present, but these drives, in my opinion, are, not my opinion, I've been told this, I'm not making this up, I've been listening to other people. These drives get appropriated by cultural systems that pose as neutral, but are not neutral, to continue to promote states of fear, states of difference. This is deliberate, not necessarily in a Machiavellian way, but when people are in a continual state of fear, fear induced by media coverage of politics and global geopolitical affairs, this creates fear. Fear induces an unconscious state. I know in me, when I'm frightened, I'm not rational. If you make me nervous and afraid, I can't think clearly. Similarly, when I'm flooded with desire, that other great unconscious state used by the advertising and marketing professions. No offense if that's what you do, because all of us, we're all participating. You know, like, I didn't come here today on a mule, you know. Although with the blanket, you could be forgiven for thinking it's possible. Fear and desire, unconscious states that cause disconnection. So I don't feel like it's an individual problem or there's individual culpability, and there's some scientific evidence now that we don't even have the autonomy that we previously perceived ourselves to have. I suppose the same way that if you require breath to stay alive, how is breath external to you? Breath is another organ. We're continually in symbiosis and osmosis with our environment, even through evolution, even if you are the most materialist, rationalist person out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some of my best friends are materialist, rationalists, you know. The fact is that we need one another. We need our environment. We need love. The trend is pointing towards oneness. Throughout mythic history, if there can be such a thing as myth, no, I mean more the history of myth. Throughout the history of myths, we see certain archetypes and themes, universal absolutes recurring. I believe that these could be regarded as a code, a map to our true nature, a kind of pathway that we can walk.